All right, take a look at the big board right now in New York, and it is having a tough day as it opens up. It's trading down 384 points right now as we continue to watch that. That's, of course, what's sort of the result of what happened in Asia this morning as well, which was a nightmare as far as traders are concerned. Let's bring in Jen St. Dennis right now to talk a little bit more about this from Business in Vancouver. And Jen, trading got so bad in the Asian markets, this new system they put in December they had to use on day one of 2016 trading.
Yeah, so they've halted trading because of this system that sort of has this floor where they kind of halt trading when it gets below a certain amount. Now, what investors are reacting to in China are disappointing manufacturing numbers, but the jitters are being felt, across the global stock markets as well. There's some other components as well. There's concerns about the instability in the Middle East as Saudi Arabia cut diplomatic ties with Iran. Those are both oil-producing countries. That's leading to more volatility in the price of oil today. So quite a few things happening today in stock markets. Would have been nice to start the first business day of 2016 on a high note, but it looks like it's the opposite today.
Sort of what we were seeing heading into the Christmas season for sure. Tough market conditions.
All
right, we'll keep an eye on that as we continue rolling along here on the Morning News. But some other stories to talk about with you as well, including telecom companies and who's the fastest.
Yeah, if you have the need for speed on your smartphone, you might want to pay attention to this analysis that was done by this company called OpenSignal. They keep track of wireless coverage across Canada. They recently did a little bit of a check on who has the fastest speed. So Bell actually has come in fastest. They have a megabyte per second speed of 19.9. Second in the line is Rogers with 17.7, and then third is TELUS with 17.2. Now, if you are a smartphone user, you're really not going to see much of a difference between these three telecoms. They're all pretty much the same. They have made different deals to kind of use each other's networks in certain circumstances. So we have a pretty good network in Canada, and it is actually higher than the global average, which is something like 12.6 megabytes per second for download speed.
Interesting. All right. Let's talk about 2016. Obviously, the market's not off to a great start today, but how is the overall look for 2016?
Yeah, well, this is a bit of a funny story for me because it's, for Canada as a whole, it's a fairly flat story, not a ton of growth expected, very modest GDP growth expected for Canada. But for BC, the situation is fairly rosy, and that's partly because we have quite a diversified economy. And the sectors that are really going to be benefiting in BC are those that are already benefiting from the low Canadian dollar, and also the U.S. economy gaining strength and our ability to kind of do business with them. So film and television production is going to continue to do well, probably. Tourism, which we saw had a very, very strong year this year, will also continue to do well. Sectors like real estate also expected to do just fine. Anything to do with manufacturing and exporting probably will be just fine. Forestry expected to do okay, but be a little bit flatter because they're dealing with some timber supply concerns. Now, the sectors that are not going to be doing so well are, of course, mining and oil and gas, and that's because those sectors are still struggling with very low commodity prices, and there's not expected to be any kind of major rebound in the near future. But like I said, it's that ability of BC to have a lot of different sectors in play that's giving us this good news story when a lot of other provinces are not going to see a lot of growth.
Where would we be without our strong tourism industry right now?
That's right. I know, tourism, who would have thought?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the really bright spots right now.
Okay, Jen, thank you very much.
All right.
Jen St. Dennis from Business in Vancouver for us on this Monday morning.